Well, I got all my hay cut yesterday, but I figured as long as I still got the mower on, I'm going to go and clean up some weed patches, cut them down, maybe even rake them and push them off to the side and burn them, and then I can come back and spray when, the spurge will jump up, and I'll spray it. I got to wait a couple days before I could bale that hay that I've got down. I was going to talk about something I heard the other day. We've been trying to give the the Ukrainians airplanes all the time, bugging everybody to give up their MiGs, and nobody does it. For good reason, because it's always, you give them your MiGs, which is going to piss the Russians off, and then we'll replace them with F-16s. But there isn't enough F-16s to go around. We've got them promised to Taiwan. We keep promising everybody all these airplanes that don't exist, but we want to get them in our system, so they have to buy replacements and parts from us. It's kind of our toe in the door always, get them using our equipment. So they're trying to clear out all this old Soviet stuff, though the people who have them are perfectly happy with them. But it's just that, we always say, but the only thing the Ukrainians can fly are those. So they keep trying to get them to do it, and people are being smart and not depleting their military on this stupid lost cause in the hopes that then they can get new planes, which, like I say, probably is never going to happen. So there is resistance there. Though we keep talking like it's a done deal, but it never happens. Well, I heard something the other day now. They said, well, if we can't get people to give them their MiGs, they were thinking, why don't we just give them our A-10 Thunderbolts? Now, they've been trying to get rid of these Warthogs for a long time. It's one of those things where our military thinks we want new, shiny, expensive, those F-35s that they can't get to work. They're supposed to replace those old Thunderbolts. So they figure, we'll just give them to Ukraine, which would just grind them up to nothing, because the Thunderbolt has a purpose, and they're very good for their purpose. They're exceptional, which is why they've been around for a long time. And they're really not something that they can replace with this F-35, though that's their theory. But it's like when they got rid of the M14s. We tried to get rid of the M14s, but the situation always comes up that the ideal tool is the M14. For certain jobs, that's the tool. So they have different versions, newer military, modified versions of the originals, but they keep them because there's a job that they do that nothing else does. And that's the same problem with these Warthogs. But they keep trying to, in odd ways, like not supplying parts for them anymore. They're trying to just hollow out the fleet of A-10s. But what they are is a close-in ground support for troops on the ground. Those are important things to have above you. But to send them to Ukraine would just be scrapping them. They wouldn't work there. The air defenses would take them out so quickly it would be ridiculous. In the first place, the Ukrainians couldn't fly them, so there again it would be our like on leave NATO personnel kind of thing. But there's no way they would survive in that environment. Not with the S-400s. They would take them out so quick. They're subsonic, you know. They're not a fast plane. They're heavily armored, but they can't take a missile strike like that. They could take small arms fire very well. They're like I say, an armored plane with titanium, but they're basically a Gatling gun with an airplane built around it. But they can take a huge amount of abuse. But their support for ground troops. They're not dogfighting. But, you know, they have a limited amount of defense in the air. You know, they've got like decoys and stuff like that, but they would not last any time at all. But it's a shame, you know, and they have a tool that works really well in particular circumstances, and they're bound and determined to get rid of it. You know, they want new, shiny, expensive stuff. These have been around too long, but there's a reason they've been around so long. They just do the job. And there's a lot of people on the ground that are alive because those A-10s were flying. But Ukraine is not a place to send A-10s. It's a silly idea. But, you know, we've pulled a lot of silly ideas there, and we're going to do a lot more. But it's disturbing to see when they have something that works really well, try to put it into a situation that it can't function in, and expect it to survive. It's a crazy idea, but like I say, a lot of crazy ideas involved in this.